We are continuing with our coverage of the breaking news from Australia, a fatal shooting which has killed 11 people and which police say targeted the Jewish community. It's been treated as a terrorist attack. It's happened in Sydney near the world-famous Bondi Beach, where more than 1,000 people were attending an event to mark the start of Hanukkah late on Sunday afternoon. Witnesses report seeing two gunmen opening fire and hearing dozens of shots. One of these suspected attackers was killed and another suspect was wounded and is in custody. A vehicle containing improvised explosive devices was found nearby, and police are investigating whether a third person was involved. This video was filmed when the shooting began. You can hear the gunshots in the distance. 29 other people were taken to hospital, including 2 police officers who were shot and are in a serious condition. More closer footage of what's happened has emerged on social media sites. We should warn you, you may find these images distressing. This video shows what appears to be 2 gunmen on a bridge from a car park to the beach, dressed in dark clothing and opening fire from long-barreled weapons. They appear to be taking aim before shooting. A number of shots are fired. Meanwhile, this video was filmed as the gunfire took place. It shows people running away from the beach. The area where the shooting happened is thought to be in the background, halfway along the beach, as we can see it on the right. You can hear shots in the background, and the members of the public are clearly very afraid for their lives. Other video, which we believe was filmed on the beach shortly afterwards, shows numerous people being given emergency medical treatment. Now, we can also share with you this incredible footage, which appears to show a member of the public tackling one of the suspected gunmen while the incident was ongoing.
Oh!
He appears here wearing a white shirt after hiding between parked cars. He then approaches the armed man from behind and wrestles the weapon away from him. The gunman is then forced to the ground and then staggers away. The member of the public points the gun at him there is nothing to suggest that he opens fire. This all happens just a few meters away from the bridge, where the other suspected gunman is continuing to fire. The man in the white shirt eventually lays down the gun and takes shelter behind a tree. Authorities in New South Wales have called him a hero. Well, earlier I spoke to our reporter Tessa Wong, who's at Bondi Beach for us. She gave me this update.
We've just been told by the police that the IED, the improvised explosive devices that were suspected to be in the area, they were indeed in the area. They have been located, secured and removed from the area. This area is actually a car park. It's just right in front of the scene of the shooting. And we understand that several cars have been searched. And this area was an exclusion zone, which meant that nobody could go in and out. This has now just been turned into a crime scene.
We were hearing from the authorities saying that the casualty figures might rise in the coming hours. Do you get a sense that that part of the emergency operation has concluded, that all of the survivors and perhaps those who've been killed have been removed from the scene of the shooting?
We can't say for sure. The police cordon is quite far away from the scene of the incident. What we can see, and you can see in the background behind me as well, that there are a lot of police vehicles, emergency vehicles, still going in and out of this crime scene. Further down, about 200 meters back down this car park, I could still see many vehicles, police vehicles with their lights on, and ambulances as well. So I think the operation is still ongoing.
You've been there for some hours now at the scene of this attack. What is your sense of what's going on and the significance of it for Australia?
Well, it's firstly a very shocking event that could have happened, not just in Australia, but also in this part of Sydney and Bondi Beach, the world famous Bondi Beach, as you mentioned earlier. And this area is actually a very family friendly, full of tourists area. Earlier today, it was a beautiful day at the beach. There were lots of people on the beach. And the whole stretch here was full of people, just thronging the bars and the restaurants. There was an event that was held on the green just before the beach, just at the footbridge you can see behind me. It was a Jewish event, and I actually was at that footbridge just an hour before the shooting, crossing from the beach back to the houses back here. I saw the event that was being held. At that time it had just started. There was loud music, lots of people going in and out of that event. There was about 200 people. There were children there. It looked very lively.
We can also hear now from some of the people who were there when the shooting happened.
It's impossible. I was holding somebody's child because he was screaming. I was saving this child. That's all.
I don't get scared very easily.
So
I went for a smoke. There was grounds, there all greeneries. I went for a smoke because you can't smoke there. Unfortunately, I'm a smoker. And I went over that sort of fence where the cop parked, and then the shooting starts. And everyone is running down. And two police officers lying down on the ground next to me. I fall down and the blood was coming from my hand.
So I seen like a kid, like she was like maybe 8 years old. She got injured on the leg, and she was crying, and she was on the ground. So she was behind her mom. Her mom was on the ground as well. So her mom, she was holding her kid. She was 8 years old, and the other kid, she was like maybe 2-3 years old as well. And yeah, they've been like that, and many people they've been running away.
At the time, I was just on my sofa back at my apartment, currently staying on Campbell Road, and at the time I was on the FaceTime with my family from back home, and I just was sat watching a bit of YouTube and on FaceTime to them, and I just heard what sounded like fireworks going off, and it was multiple going off. So I sort of opened the blinds to see what was going on, and I just saw an older lady get shot, and she was on the floor. Saw an older guy get shot, very badly injured on the left-hand side, and I just saw a bunch of people screaming, run towards me. I didn't know what was going on. At the time, I was on FaceTime to them, so they were just shouting and screaming, saying, get cover, get cover. So I ran to my front door, put the lock on, and then ran to my bedroom, put the blinds down, and just took cover in my wardrobe for a little bit, because my window was open, so I was trying to hear on the tannoy people saying different stuff. So I was just trying to get as much information as possible, but just crazy situation and kids getting killed.
So I was out at the restaurant over there, and I was just serving I think I was taking away some dishes, but I was nearby the front, and I heard these shots go off, and I knew it was gunshots immediately, but I didn't really register it. So I just sort of saw them all the way over there, just people start running, and I'm going, well, maybe it's like a one-time shooting, not like it's not America, like not a massacre event, but turns out it was, and the whole shop just like stood up, and we all just ran into the back exit, and everyone was pushing everyone. There was no like semblance, and we just ran in through.
So I was just getting ready to go home, and I was packing my bag, got my flip-flops, was ready to catch my bus, and then I started hearing the shots. But at the time we just thought it was like firework or something, or maybe part of the festival that was happening. Then maybe after 6-7 shots, we thought, okay, this is weird. And then someone started running, and we all panicked and started running as well. So we left everything behind, like flip-flops, everything. We just ran to the hill. Shots ended, so I must have heard, maybe 40-50 shots. So we were still unsure what was going on. We just thought maybe it's a false alarm. Maybe it's something about, maybe something happening in the party or the market. And then that's when we heard the police and the ambulances. So then we thought, okay, no, this is serious.
Well, let's go live to Sydney now and speak to the BBC's Phil Mercer, who's there for us. So, Phil, just bring us up to date with the latest, because we understand the exclusion zone around Bondi Beach has been lifted, but investigations now truly beginning.
Yes, so some of the restrictions at Bondi Beach in Sydney are being lifted, but of course there will be a very detailed forensic examination of the crime scene. So this investigation promises to be very long and exhaustive. We've heard from Australia's senior political leaders, senior police officers and members of the intelligence community, and they say that massive police resources will be put into this investigation. The Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says that this was a deliberate and targeted attack on the Jewish community. He called it an act of evil anti-Semitism. And it was interesting, too, that one of the intelligence agencies, Australia's domestic intelligence agency, the boss of that organization says that one of the suspects was known to the authorities but wasn't deemed to be an immediate threat. So it's after midnight here in Australia now, so we are now sort of bedding down for the night. The investigation will continue, and of course the treatment of about 30 people who've been taken to hospital with what we understand to be serious injuries. Some of that surgery is still continuing, we understand, but what we do know is that 11 people have been killed in this shooting. One of the attackers was also shot dead, and a second suspect was arrested. And the police say that there could be a third suspect on the run, but they do stress that the immediate threat is over.
And how are people there reacting to the news? The authorities saying that this was a shooting targeting Sydney's Jewish community.
There'll be fear, there'll be revulsion, there'll be anger, and there will be great uncertainty about what the next few days, weeks, months and years will bring. There has always been a fear that conflict in the Middle East, Israel's war in Gaza, will contaminate the public discourse here in Australia, and that is true. What we've seen since the conflict in the Middle East began is a surge in anti-Semitic attacks. The government says also there has been a rise in Islamophobic attacks, and now, of course, Australia is potentially dealing with a catastrophic consequence of the conflict in the Middle East. We don't know at the moment because the police are still in its early stage of the investigation. But safe to say, this is a traumatic event for this country, an event that we haven't seen here for many, many years. Gun crime in Australia is rare. And that is because there was a mass shooting on the island state of Tasmania in 1996. There followed, after that atrocity, very strict gun control laws. So Australia prides itself on being a very safe country. But today, that air of safety was shattered at its most popular beach.